All right, welcome to Hit or Miss. I am Night Strike, and we do not have Smeggy tonight. Again, he is off working the midnight oil.
Burning the midnight oil.
He's burning the midnight oil. That's right. That's what he's doing. So Smeggy is not here. Apparently, the Daily Gun Show was not here today either. I think G-Web's got a little too giddy with that van because he went and picked it up the other day, and I think G-Webs may have a problem because he might be hugging that van just a little too tight. But that's what's going on.
I don't think there was one Instagram post from him either. No van pics today.
He did a video on it day before yesterday.
Oh yeah.
So I think he's still having a moment with the van. So tonight we're going to talk about a couple things. Primarily, we're going to go over milsurps, and we're going to go over those. We'll probably talk about some other things. I do actually have some show notes. I've got to find them in my hard drive, but before I do that, I'm going to introduce my panel. We have a whole shit ton of people here tonight. I wasn't expecting this many people, so it's awesome. All right, so left to right, we've got Cycle Camp.
Hi, everybody. CycleCamp1, U2.com. If you like milsurps, you see me shooting old guns.
Yep. He's definitely a milsurp guy. And then we got Clovertac. What's going on, Clovertac?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on Strike. Clovertac.com if you want to check out some cool stuff.
No problem. Don't you also do a chat, too?
Yeah, do two actually that are Gun Channel branded, Wednesday and Thursday night, and then my show Firearm Friday on Friday.
Awesome. It's good. All right, and then we got Dog Body. What's going on, Dog Body?
Not too much. Thanks for having me. I also do YouTube over at Dog Body Space Official on YouTube. Every Thursday I do videos for Down the Scope. So if you like first-person shooting, come visit.
Step into the microphone because you're coming in a little soft.
Is that better?
That is perfect.
Oh yeah.
Sorry about that. Forgot to hit the power button on the mic.
Might want to do that. Just a little. All right. And then we got my favorite South Carolinian Garage Guns is here.
Hey guys, I don't do anything cool on YouTube. I just take pictures on Instagram.
It works.
Good pictures at that, by the way. Just saying.
Heck yeah.
Oh, look who jumped in at the last minute. We have Heavy B.
I've been here while you've been introducing people. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I saw you jump in.
Anyway, what's up, everybody?
About 3 minutes ago.
Okay.
It just shows how attentive Night Strike is, that's all.
Heavy, what's going on with your show? Are you going to do your show this week, or you have decided what day you're going to go reassign your show to?
I'm probably going to do a show. Let's see, the Daily Gun Show goes on before Matt's, right? So
Right.
I might do mine in the afternoon, depending on what the weather's like. I might end up going to Jimmy's place, but if the weather's crappy, then nah, I'll stay home and I'll do my show. Other than that, it'll probably be late Friday night.
So you're going to take Edge's spot. Gotcha.
Well, has Edge done a chat lately? I haven't seen him.
Edge has been doing chats still, yeah, because every time I'm on gun channels around that time, I always get a link from Edge. So,
He sends me one every now and then, but I just Friday nights are kind of.
I always get a link from Edge because Edge needs the Night Strike. That's all I'm saying.
Let's just figure out a show.
But I want to say.
Only Night Strike can make Edge's shows better. Apparently, I don't know.
Anyway, so like I was trying to say, let's just figure out me doing my show tomorrow around 2 p.m.
All right.
That would be 5 Eastern.
All right.
Those people who are...
Time check.
And we got Tino. What's going on, Tino?
Hey, thanks for the invite. Doing pretty good.
Good. And Too Hottie, what's going on?
Not shit. Howdy.
Awesome. We got Travis P11. What's going on, Travis?
Hey, what's going on, guys, man?
All right. So who do we have out there on the YouTube side? We got AC97 right now. I don't see anyone else. Maybe they're just slow. Don't know what's going on with that. Apparently, Foose has jumped in here at the last minute, and he's on a call. So as soon as he gets done, we'll say hi to Foose. But until then, well, let's just get into it. We're going to talk about milsurps today. Specifically, I want to talk about milsurps, that served in. I'm not particularly going to go and discount any other militaries, but I mean, I'd like to primarily talk about some of the American milsurps. We can talk about other ones too. I don't mind, but I mean, does anybody in here have milsurps? Yes, no, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
We determined that earlier.
Yeah, we had a discussion about this before, but we're live on air now, so you have to be honest.
Well, you said mine counted, so that's what matters.
Well, we're making exceptions for some people that can't afford milsurps, so because Tino can't afford to buy a cop, he has to get he has to inherit one. So
why would I buy one when I already have one?
Anyways, so yeah, we're going to talk about milsurps. Let's say, where do you guys want to start? How far back do you want to go on milsurps? As far as ones that have been in the United States military service, that have gotten into the hands of civilians that have sporterized or used them and still use them. Which ones do you want to go for? Go talk about first. I mean,
what's the oldest ones we have out there?
I would say the oldest ones that we can still use without being black powder. I think the Krag is the oldest one.
The 1873 was used in war.
Well, I mean modern. It uses modern ammunition.
But it uses modern ammunition. It's a 4570.
Yeah, 4570 is still around.
Yeah, all right. We'll talk. I don't know that much about the 73. That's the problem.
Oh, it's a trapdoor.
Oh, yeah, it's one of the trapdoors. All right.
Yeah, single shot trapdoor.
So, do you have one, Bill?
Of course I do. I wouldn't be bringing it up otherwise.
Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about your 1873?
Mine is actually a Springfield, when Springfield was really Springfield, U.S. model 1873. It's a single shot trapdoor in 4570. It has a 32-inch barrel. The serial number is pretty low, and mine was made in 1876.
And weighs more than the Titanic.
It weighs more than the Titanic, but you're glad it weighs that much when you crank off that 4570 round.
Oh, yeah, 4570.
And I actually just took third place in a pre-1890 match with that. So I'm still shooting the gun.
Well, congratulations on that.
All right, we got some latecomers on the YouTube side. We got Doug D and Scott Porcini showing up. Hey, guys, how's it going? And, yeah, the 1873, that's a good one. But, okay. I mean, you're the only one that has one.
Aww.
At least in our group right now. So.
I actually have the old one, and I also have a carbine, but that's a replica by H&R.
Well,
I think it still counts.
I'm going to say right now, is it a replica or is it a reproduction? A reproduction works. A replica does not.
Oh, no, it's a reproduction. Yeah, it works.
So we'll count the reproductions because there does come a point where some guns get too old to actually shoot because I don't know. It has to do with metallurgy and whatnot, but when metal gets a certain age, sometimes it starts to crystallize and form cracks in the metal. And sometimes at that point, it becomes an antique where you hang it on the wall and you don't fire it. Because if you fire it, it's going to shatter into a million pieces in your face.
Well, actually, that's part of one of the interesting things about milsurps. Do people collect them for the historical value, or do they intend to shoot with them?
Yeah, well, I myself get ones that I can actually shoot and use because I want to enjoy something that doesn't cost me $1 million. But that's another good thing. That's another good point. On the opposite side, there are some milsurps that have been, that are basically just showpieces that you just want to hang up and you never want to fire because it looks too nice. That's why you see some SKSs that are like $500 or $600 or $700. They haven't been bubbaed. They're all parts matching, but the issue is, there's not a single scratch, rust, or cosmoline on that damn rifle. No, it is in pristine condition.
Well, the lack of cosmoline would just be somebody who actually cleaned it when they got it.
Right. So there's that. All right. Clover, what are you showing us? What do you got there?
No, we hadn't got to them yet. Those are infields.
All right. Well, we're not getting to the infields yet. So, why don't we talk about the Krag a little bit? I wanted to talk about it, but we got distracted with the 1873 thanks to Cycle Camp. So thank you. All right. So the Krag. Technically, the Krag was the first centerfire modern rifle in the U.S. military. I'm still looking for one, but I'm not going to pay $800 for a sporterized Krag. And anybody that does, you are a fool because that rifle is not worth any more than $200 to $300 if it's been sporterized, especially if the barrel has been shortened from, I believe, 30 inches down to 24. It is not worth it.
22, actually. Well, if you have a carbine, the carbine's 22.
Carbine's 22, but if it's the 1899, it's down to 24, and you do not want to go and buy a Krag for $800 that's been sporterized for that much, because no, it's not worth it.
$800 Krag? Hell no.
No, that's the thing. If it wasn't like maybe say it was a workhorse, okay? If it's a workhorse and it's in original configuration, then it is worth the money. Then it is worth that amount. But if it is not, you shouldn't be charging $799 or $800 for a Krag that's been sporterized and customized to all hell and drilled into the receiver for a fucking scope that's not even on the rifle anymore. That shit pisses me off. I know why people do it, because they're sporterizing it because they got them cheap and they sporterized it then. But now people need to realize that they're not worth that much.
Mm-hmm. Anything you do into a mil-spec rifle or a mil-spec pistol at all, expect to lose money on it unless you keep it originally.
Right.
Plain and simple. You're going to lose money.
Now, if you have original parts for it, then you just switch stuff out. That's all right. Just when you sell it, put those parts back on. As long as they're still working, and take all the added stuff off. But that's a different story entirely.
Entirely.
Foos, don't you?
But
have
that
like
is one of the things that makes
Mauser?
What?
Don't you have a chinchillian Mauser?
Chinchillian. It's a little
it's
furry.
It's a chinchillian.
It's a chinchilla Mauser.
Chinchillian.
Yeah. Chinchilla Mauser.
I'm sorry, I had to bring that up.
That's all right.
Was funny when it happened.
Chinchillian.
That's all right. I also have Makarov.
but
yeah, we know.
But you bring up a good point. A lot of these older center fire bolt actions, especially, and I found this in the mid western states, you just can't find them because guys bought them to hunt deer with them, and they just tore them up. They replaced the sights, they tapped them for scopes, they carved the stocks down. Yep. And it's very difficult. I went to Arkansas earlier this year, and I stopped at a bunch of different gun stores. And at every gun store, I was looking for milsurps, and the guys were just shaking their heads saying, "We don't keep those kinds of guns around because guys take them and sportserize them, and so we don't have any originals around anymore."
Yeah,
I've noticed that.
I'm in Arkansas. I know exactly what you're talking about.
and garage guns, I hate our state sometimes because when I go onto Arms List to look for like milsurp stuff or maybe something I can get locally, I always see that one or two guys over in either Spartanburg or they're in Greenville, Columbia, trying to sell a sporterized crag for like anywhere between $600 and $900 for a 24-inch length barrel crag that's been sporterized.
Yeah, I see that everywhere with not just milsurp stuff, but everything. Everybody worth so much.
Everybody here in South Carolina thinks that their stuff is worth more than it really is, and I don't know if that's just South Carolina or if that's just all over. But people, come on, if it's a sporterized, it's not worth the price of an original rifle. So
you have to think about it. It's just like anything. You go out and buy a car. You go out and buy a brand new, let's say $50,000 car, and you make it your own. The price of it, no matter what, is going to go down, other than just depreciation, because you have to find that one person that has the exact same taste as you and says that's worth it. And you're not going to have that, especially in a sporterized market where people are looking for a Krag or a Mauser or a Chilean Mauser stuff like that. Chilean. Chilean,
that's correct.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have all this stuff, and people aren't going to want it unless you find that one person that's like, oh, that's cool because I've always wanted one just like that, and they didn't want to go out and hack up a new one to make it look just like what you're selling. So the market on it, your market is so small, the only way to move it is to drop the price.
Right. So I just wanted to talk about that because I've seen that here in South Carolina, and it might be all over, but I see it more prevalent here with milsurps where, stuff. I also saw the other day someone was trying to hawk a Springfield 1903 that's been sporterized to all hell for $1,200.
Oh, Jesus. Are you kidding me?
Here in South Carolina, yes.
The sad thing is, somebody will pay that for it.
Well, the reason is that they're like, oh, I'm seeing all these other guns out there that are, 1903s that are selling, $1,200-$1,400, and mine looks better than that because I've done this and this and this. And again, it comes back to your market. Once you start doing shit like that, your market's gone.
All right.
I have an M44 upstairs that I did refinish the stock to make it look as, it has a red tint and everything to it, but I know that's the way I like it. And do I expect a return on it? No.
No. We also got we've got Knives out there on the Gun Channel side, and we got Al W, and we got Grim 90 out there. Hey guys, how's it going? But yeah. So that leads me into the next rifle we're going to talk about is the Springfield 1903. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but there's a couple deactivated ones on being sold at Classic Firearms for like $250. And here's the thing: I looked at the videos, and he said there may be a couple other parts missing on it, but from what I've seen and what he's shown on those rifles, they just ground the bolt down to make it flat. But if you go to a couple of the places that we're going to talk about, as far as where when we get to the segment where we're going to talk about where to get milsurp replacement parts, you might be able to find a bolt with the bolt head for one of said rifles. So you might want to listen to the whole chat.
Yeah. Definitely, but the only thing is then you have to worry about head spacing and take it to a gunsmith to get it head spaced.
You will have to do that, but that will still be cheaper than trying to buy an original.
Absolutely.
Odds are you'll probably have to pay between $300 and $400 all in all for that rifle.
So that was kind of
for that rifle. But
that was kind of what?
That was kind of
heavy.
You're breaking up.
I need psychological help.
You're breaking up. Bad.
Yeah, but there's that. So I was looking. I wish I had the money to go and get the get the Springfield 1903 right now, but I do not. So if anybody out there gets one, go ahead and get one. Just know that you're going to have a gunsmith go over it. You are going to have to look at the parts that come with it. If it's missing a couple parts, or some of those parts have been, either welded in place, or if they have been, if they're just broken, you will have to order replacement parts before you go and try and get it repaired. And I would recommend that if you do that, don't go and repair them yourself unless you know what the fuck you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, please take it to a competent gunsmith and have him do it. Have him look at it. Get the parts. If he says he need this part or that part, we'll mention a couple websites where you may be able to get some of these replacement parts. All right. So we've talked about the Springfield. We got into that. Now let's move on to everybody's favorite CMP rifle. Let's move on to the Garand. Has anybody used a Garand in here?
Yep.
Have you used it a lot?
I've fired one.
I've fired
I own one,
PP26s.
I own a M1 Garand that was manufactured in 1952.
All right. So tell us a little bit about the Garand cycle cam.
Well, this is actually a CMP Garand, so I was able to get it through CMP. It is a Springfield Armory, which was really unusual because at the time I ordered it, they were out of them, and I was going to take an H&R, and I called them because it was taking a while for them to process my order, and they said, "Oh, we just opened a case of Springfields. Would you like one of those instead?" And I said, "Shit, yeah, send it on." So, but the gun has been it was refurbished, by CMP. Comes with a great plastic case and butt clips and the DVD and all that other stuff. But the serial number dates it around 1952. It shoots like crazy. It's a great shooting gun.
Now, do you reload for that?
I don't, but my brother-in-law does. I don't reload anything. I'm too cheap.
I mean, like whenever you have Grands, if you go out and have factory like hunting rounds and stuff like that, just
no.
Be careful. Yeah, be careful. Don't do it. It's not good.
Well, that's true. That's true with period Springfields. Any period Springfield in 30-06 or 308, you don't want to be putting sporting rounds through them.
So, yeah,
they're not made to take that.
There is that, with Garands, you have to use specialized Garand ammunition instead of using, standard 30-06 that you would use in like a Springfield.
Yeah,
American Eagle. It's not too expensive.
Yeah.
What's the standard?
I used a
is it a 157 grain or is it a 149 grain?
No,
it's the pressure. It has nothing to do with the projectile. It's the pressure.
It's a SAMI spec.
Yeah.
On the pressure. Yeah. But I usually use the HXP Greek ammunition that I got in bulk from CMP.
Though I have a friend that has one, and he uses he gets a lot of that PPU. What is it?
Oh yeah,
pre-partisan.
That works.
He buys that stuff whenever they have the M1 Garand ammo on sale. So he usually buys like 1,000 or 2 rounds at a time, and he just burns through that. But it's one hell of a rifle. I really wish I could get one, but like Scott Pacini said on the YouTube side, I'm not paying $1,600 for one.
A grand, no.
And the problem is, it's the same ones that have been beat to shit that were selling for like $500 or $600 like a few years ago, and now they want $1,600 at the CMP for the same price.
Yeah, it's because they're drying up, supply and demand. They're basically gone.
I just want one. I don't want a great one. I just want one I can shoot. Shit.
Weren't they if we releasing a bunch from South Korea?
Yeah, but we haven't gotten them yet.
Yeah, we have not gotten them.
Yeah, you're looking at a starting bid of about $1,000 on Gunbroker if you want to try to get one.
Yeah.
You get one unissued for $3,500.
No, thank you.
If I was going to spend $3,500 on a piece like that, it would be a Johnson rifle.
No, if I was going to spend $3,500 on a rifle, it would be probably a down payment on an M14.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I'd have to find the rest of the money to get, to pay for the rest of the rifle and the $200 tax stamp.
You can get there's an M14 on Classic right now for $19.95.
He wants full auto.
Oh,
I'm talking about the fun switch, the thing that you can actually go into your actual military armory and play with when you're in the military.
the new ones that I see everybody carrying when I'm
That's the SOCOM 16.
Boy,
That's
right.
not the M14.
they've got the M14s that they've modified that they use for precision mark or designated marksman.
It's the M21.
I don't know.
It was just a modernized M14.
Yeah, they got those. But yeah, so there's also what's another milsurp. I did see that Classic Firearms has them on has a ton of these for sale today. Well, not a ton, but they've got a certain amount. But there's the M1 carbine. Everyone loves it. I love the M1 carbine. I've shot one before a couple times. I enjoy it. I can't afford one right now. I wish I had actually jumped on, maybe one of the reproductions that were made during like the 60s and 70s by, what was it, Inland?
Inland, yeah.
Yeah. If I had got one of those, I probably should have, because they were, some guys that are in the Charleston area were selling these like $400 or $500 a piece.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
You can get into go ahead.
You got to be careful when you buy a reproduction M1 because a lot of them are not faithful to the design.
Well, no, the Inlands that were made like in the 70s, they're all right.
Yeah. I happen to have an Ivor Johnson that was made in '82, and the specific reason I picked that gun out of the 4 or 5 that were on the rack was because it actually was a faithful reproduction. It had it had the little button to hold the slide back and all that stuff. That's the first thing you look for. If you went on the slide, there's a button, a tiny little button, and when you pull the slide back,
you mean the charging handle?
Yeah, the charging handle. Yes.
Yeah.
When you pull that back, that button locks it in place. And if it doesn't have the button, it's not a faithful reproduction.
Right. All right. But yeah, I don't know how much Classic Firearms wants, but they probably want anywhere close to $1,000.
You can get the inlands are $950, and then you can get an auto ordnance for $650.
Wow.
From what I saw in Classic.
Yeah, aren't the auto ordinances didn't auto ordinance?
Yeah, they're not. They're reproductions.
They're reproductions too, but the auto, I believe,
reintroduced it maybe 10 years ago or something like that.
I think auto ordnance actually makes a more it's not mil spec, but it's closer to the military version than it would
design.
be.
Yeah.
The military design than some of the bad ones that Bill was talking about, or Cyclocam.
Here's the problem I have with milsurp guns in general. Just the prices on them. It's you just can't seem to touch anything under $300, whether you want to talk a Mosin or whatever. I mean, they're just like, I don't know. It's almost like they're more a collectible. I mean, god dang, there's no good deals. I know. I mean, I'm looking at it. I mean, like an 8mm Turkish Mauser to me is about the best deal you can get right now, since you can pick them up for a little under $300. I just everything else is $399, $400.
Absolutely.
Well,
most are sold out.
I'm going to mimic Matt on this one and say, if you're interested in surplus guns, whether they're milsurp or not, don't wait, because the prices are just going out of sight. My Ivor Johnson, I paid $439 for it in 2015.
Right.
And you don't even want to know what I paid for my M1 Garand.
Well, that just, well, I will say that I got the bottom of the barrel of SKSs because mine was, instead of rust, instead of Cosmoline, it was covered in rust. So, well, I got it wasn't in the barrel; it was on the outside. So there was rust and pitting on it, and most of the bluing came off of the rifle. But I did get all the rust off of it. I am able to shoot ammunition out of it, but I'm not able to shoot steel. I can only do brass. because the steel gets stuck in the chambers. So
Yeah, it hurts.
yeah. So I mean, it sucks for that, but I'm eventually going to take that to, I'll probably take it to Mark Novak and have him take a look at it. See if he can do anything for me. It may just be that I may just have to go and replace the barrel on it.
Maybe. That or he may need to take a
chamber home
and open it up ever so slightly. Just, basically deburr it and stuff like that.
Just to get it flat, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'll have to do on that. But mine was, I got that for like technically I got it for like $149.99, but I had to pay a lot of other stuff. So I paid like, I'm just gonna say this, I paid $150 for the rifle. All in all, I got it from one of the companies down in Florida that sells a lot of IO stuff, but it was Royal Tiger Imports I got mine from. But
I've heard of them.
It was a grade C, and the grade C's were either it worked or didn't. Mine worked, did not have matching parts, but the condition when it was in, it didn't matter if it had matching parts or not because it was still a shitty rifle. But when I went and looked at the serial number, it's really hard to find a Chinese gun that isn't in the millions of serial numbers, because this one it's like a 1956 SKS. It's got an 11,000 number serial number. It's in the 11,000s instead of it being in.
Oh, it's early.
Yeah, it's like it's like probably either the first year or the second year of production that when the Chinese started making them. So
let me. I want to go. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go look at when mine was made.
Because, and I know we're talking about SKSs, but it's a milsurp, so I just want to go over these. Now, I know a little bit more about this as opposed to some other stuff, but I did look it up, and it's out there on the internet. It's called the Chinese SKS Guide. And basically, what these guys have done is they've either contacted China and gotten some information on some of these rifles that were exported. There are some where China stated that they came out of factory 26 specifically for commercial resale all over the world. And then they've been able to contact them and get information on the the rifles that were military surplus that they sold off years ago, and people have gotten a hold of them and imported them into the United States before the import ban. So, but judging by my serial number and the fact that it does not have any factory marking, so even though all of them are probably made by, what's the one factory that makes all the guns in China? What is it?
Norinco?
Yeah, Norinco.
It's in Norinco, but before Norinco, I think it was Factory 26 or something. But
well, let me look up my my other Jap gun. Oh, that was Japanese, not Chinese. Sorry.
Yeah. But
Zastava is Romanian, right?
No, I think Zastava is Serbian. Serbian or Yugo.
Yeah, because that's my SKS is actually an M5966 that they made.
Yeah.
And I got it because it was really clean and it had the grenade launcher and the ladder sights and the bayonet and all that garbage on it. So
yeah,
I said, oh, that's cool. It's a nice representative SKS.
And here's how you know you have an original milsurp SKS that was from the military from China as opposed to commercial is if you have a bayonet that's the blade bayonet, that's the early bayonet that was used in the military before they decided to start to before the military bayonet, the military SKSs from China always had the blade on them, but the commercial ones shipped with the spike bayonet that they threw on every Mosin Nagant that they made, which was the the M, what was the type. Shit, what's it? It's their M44 variant. I forget the type number it was.
That's the carbine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an M44. Yeah.
yeah, it's I forget the type of what it was, but either way, they shipped that one.
Oh,
With,
that would have been. I'm sorry.
Spike.
Chinese. I don't know. Japanese. I would know, but Chinese.
So mine's F6782. So I don't know what that is. How many?
Yeah. Mine does not have a factory code on it, so. How old is yours, Foos?
I don't know. It's F6782. There is a factory code on it. So
16 million something.
I don't know. I don't know
or something like that.
Level they how many they did during a run.
Yeah, mine is a I guess it's a ghost because it doesn't have the factory marking on it. Because usually, with the early ones, you would have the factory marking, or the military ones would have a factory marking of 26, or they'd have another whatever factory, for the military ones. But mine did not, and those were before that they would have a Chinese star on them that would denote the Sino-Soviets. But the issue is mine's probably a 56 or 57 because it doesn't have a factory number on it. It doesn't have the star on it, but it's in the 11,000s, which if you go to I think it's called Chinese SKS.weebly.com. That's the Chinese SKS guide. You go there, they'll show you that Arsenal 26 is the one that made a lot of the military ones. They also talk about the commercial ones and the non-26 SKSs. Shows you how to identify the date of your Type 56 SKS was made. All that good stuff. That's where I went when I got my SKS and found out that I had a really low serial number ghost one, where some of the ones, the commercial ones, were actually up into the number of the millions. I've seen ones where it's like between 2 and 5 million serial numbers. That's ridiculous, but people wanted them.
Rifles.
That is a shit ton of rifles.
Shit ton of rifles.
Whether or not they actually made that many is besides the point. But the fact is that was the serial number, right?
Yep.
So. But it is a good rifle if you just want, just the rifle to go ahead, have a little fun with at the range. I wouldn't trust it to save your life unless, you sharpen that bayonet a little and use the bayonet. Then, you might be all right.
I would have zero issues using this rifle for home defense.
With mine, I would. But only because I need to do a little work to mine. But
yes, mine, I would in a freaking heartbeat.
Right.
I'd load it up right now.
Right.
And
I have a question.
Go for it.
In regards to SKSs, which is the model? Is it the Type D that has that actually took AK-47 magazines?
It's only a commercial model. I don't want to. I almost want to say, yeah, D or E.
No, there was the Model M that did it. I don't know if the D did it. Yeah, the Model D and the Model M's took the magazines.
So this past weekend, I did see a Chinese paratrooper one, but it did not have its magazine. It came with a duckbill, and they wanted like $600 for it.
Yeah, the Model Ds and Model M's took the AK magazines, and both of those were commercial, so they had the spike bayonet on them instead of the blade.
Yeah.
If you have a blade, you have an original military. If you have a spike,
the way I was under the impression is that the Russians were the ones that used the blade, and the Chinese used the spike. And if you had the blade in the Chinese, it was commercial.
No, that's the funny thing. That's the Russians designed the rifle with the blade. The Russians did not use a spike on their SKSs.
Okay, so far we're on the same page.
That was strictly a Chinese thing. The Chinese, their military, used blade bayonets. But the commercial ones they made were strictly with the spike. And you see he's got a blade on that.
Blade.
So, you know, the commercial ones that they sold specifically to export out of the country that weren't military were spikes. Anyway, so moving on. What are the milsips I want to talk about? About 1911s.
Well, why don't we go back to the infield, since Cloverfield had shown a few of them off, evidently.
That's a good point. You know,
I mean, we just completely skipped over that one. I mean, it ran forever.
I did not mention that one. I thought we did talk about the Enfields, but all right. So
well, we were talking American too. So
yeah.
Well, we at the time we were talking American. We have since jumped ship and gone.
No, we were talking about the 19 whatever it is Enfield, because I was watching the Iraqi veteran thing before we came live.
Yeah.
So that we didn't do that in the real chat.
So, yeah, there's the 1917 Enfield, which was strictly the American one. It's a great rifle.
Which is probably better than the 1903.
I don't believe so, because
better battle rifle.
Well, no, not particularly, because we used the 1903 well into World War II, whereas the 1917 we did not.
The thing about the Enfield is there were so many different models of those.
Well, we're talking about not
was
the
that
British Enfield.
Is that a Mark III?
The one that I got there.
The jungle carbine?
That's the jungle carbine, the Mark V.
That's the Mark V.
Oh, the Mark V.
Now that's the British Enfield.
Or the number 5. I'm sorry. Number 5.
Mark 1, number 5, yeah.
Mark 1, number 5, yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay, I have to ask you. I keep hearing people telling me they have trouble holding, that it has a problem with a floating zero with the iron sights. Is this true with you? Had that problem?
On the jungle carbine?
Yeah.
Yeah, it shoots like crap.
Oh, okay.
I, on the other hand, don't have any problem with the metal sights on mine.
So
you also have a jungle carbine?
Yeah, number 5 Mark
right
1. I have an Fakersley Model 1, but mine was sportsterized. But I took luckily when they sportsterized it, they did not drill it and tap it. They actually built a scope mount for it that bolted in where the original scope mounts were, where the original ladder sights were.
Nice.
So I was able to bring it back.
Mine is not it's not Prizackerly, and the Prizackerly stuff in the Enfield is definitely better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree. I have heard the same thing. Many people complain that the jungle gun is just wildly inaccurate.
Now, another one that's cool in the Enfield that I switched to there, if it's showing.
Oh yeah.
That is the 410 conversion, single shot 410 conversion.
Oh, it's Indian.
But that's the Indian 410. That's not the 410 shotgun shell.
That's the Ishapur, right?
Yeah, and that one is a pain in the. You can't. The problem is, I've seen those for sale. They're not very expensive if you go and look for one. But the issue is, even if you buy one, that's literally a showpiece, because you cannot find the Indian ammunition for those anymore, because they stopped making them right after they converted them.
I had a 308 Ishapur about 15 years ago, and I shot regular 308. It was converted to 308. I fired regular 308 ammo through it, no issues.
Yeah, well,
maybe I just got lucky, but was that shooting a different type of round, the 308 converted Enfields, the Ishapurs?
Remember, 303 British is the bullet diameter is 303. 308, the bullet diameter is 311.
No.
It's 311.
Oh, it's 0.31.
So the reason it's called 303 is because with us, like the 7.62 guns, the 308, all that stuff, we measure the deepest part of the rifling, which is the lands. I mean, the grooves. British, their measurement starts at the lands, so the smallest portion of the rifle. That's why it's a 303.
That's right.
Yeah. So
I forget that one, so it's my bad. I made a mistake, guys. Please don't hurt me on that one.
Now,
No, we're totally used to it.
have
The
any
pill
of
in the
have any of you
303
guys-
is actually a 311, 312, and it's exactly the same as the Japanese 7.7.
Yep, and same as
That I did not
Mosin.
know.
Same as Mosin 7.62, 311, 312.
Yep.
They're all the same. So if you have all those, buy one bullet, buy it deep, and
Yeah, use them all.
you load it.
Now,
Absolutely.
have any of you guys on the number one Mark IIIs? Have you seen the magazine restrictor plates? One with the magazine restrictor plate.
I have not. Have you?
Yeah, I mean, I own one. That's what's up on the screen now. I'm sharing down there, and I was just curious about it because I was told that's a very early model, and they omitted that later on.
Yeah.
Which one? What
But
do they omit?
you can slide the. It's got this little
The
plate.
magazine cutoff.
Yeah, the magazine cut off, and you can
Yeah.
make it a single shot. And then they said they used that because if the enemy was far away to conserve ammo, they made them go single shot. And then when they got closer, they would flip that plate out, and then they could cycle
Yeah.
the.
You can remove that plate, can't you?
They actually kept that all the way through World War I because they didn't want to change manufacturing techniques on the receivers.
Well, I've never seen another number one Mark III with that plate ever.
Yeah,
I don't think mine had it. Mine didn't have it. It was just, like I got mine back in like
they were
the early
retrofitted.
'90s for like $70, and then
So that they were
I just shot the shit out
retrofitted.
of that thing.
They were retrofitted and changed at post World War One. Like your receivers should still have that slit in it. I think they just removed that, the door or that plate.
Right. Well, here's another thing, and I'm not trying to plug another channel, but if you are into Enfields and you want to know a bit more about the different models, I would seriously suggest going out and checking out Sea and Arsenal. Othias is also here in South Carolina. He's here in the Charleston area. He does Sea and Arsenal. He has done an entire. It is literally, he was doing, British rifles, but he literally had to do like an entire episode just on the Enfields themselves. So he went over literally everything. So if you want to know more about some of these Enfields that, where they changed this and that, and you have one of those, you need to know which one it is. You need to watch that video because you'll find out. I think he's also put it up on his website for Sea and Arsenal. I think it's seaandarsenal.com or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also got a whole piece up on those rifles as well on his website. So check him out.
Yeah, it's amazing because the jungle gun is one of the most fake guns in the industry.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I was in a store in New York a couple of months ago, and a guy tried to sell me a jungle gun because mine was sports-derized, so I was looking for a real one. And I looked at the gun for 30 seconds and said, "This isn't a real one. This has been it's been made to look like one, but it's not a real one."
Mm-hmm.
We got a question out on the Gun Channel side. Who would win in a Sharpie knife fight, Simonov or Kalashnikov?
Kalash.
I think we'd call it a draw because I believe they're both dead, right? So I'm gonna say it's gonna be a draw.
It's gonna be a draw, but I'm still gonna say
Unintended.
this.
Sharpie draw. Haha. Never mind.
Very, very, very funny, and that was awful, Teddy. So
It
thank you.
was, but it was.
It
still
was
fun.
punny. It was fucking pun.
Yeah, it was punny.
But I will say this: both of them are still livelier than Bob.
Well, that's not,
No, I'm kidding. But I honestly, you can't compare the two. Simonov did a lot of. He did the the Fedorov rifle that was like it was a 7.62 by 54 semi-automatic. That they used in World War I.
mm-hmm.
Then the Simonov also. Well, I don't know if it's the same Simonov, but Simonov did the SKS. That's what that stands for. Simonov semi-automatic rifle, technically. And then Kalashnikov. We know he gave us everything AK. He gave us everything AK. Honestly, you cannot compare the two. The two did two different things for the firearms world in general. And I would not pit one against the other. But if we had to choose between John Moses Browning and Kalashnikov, I'm choosing John Moses Browning every time. Just saying.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right, so...
All right.
All right, so what other guns do you want to go talk about? I'm running out of steam, guys.
There was a thing in the chat about K31s and 308s, and there are K31s that have been rechambered in 308, but do not try to shoot a 308 out of a K31. A K31 is not a 7.62; it's a 7.5. It's much smaller.
No. Again, 7.62, 7.5. It's actually the same 308 diameter projectile. But the case is different dimension. So yes, still don't shoot a 308 out of a 7.5 French Swiss, because the 7.5 Swiss, the base is a lot bigger. The projectile is actually the same size as a 308.
I'll take your word for it,
Yeah.
but my research on the web doesn't agree with that. So, no sweat.
All right. Well, there you go on K31. I don't have one, so I can't really talk about the K31. It is one of the rifles I'd really like to have, but like the M1 Garand and a couple other rifles, the prices on them are getting ridiculous.
The most accurate bolt action milsurp I own. The thing is a tack driver.
So I just went on Wikipedia, and it's a 306 diameter, but all of my reloading books show 308, and I've actually loaded 308 and full power and lit them off in my 7.5 Swiss.
Cool.
All right.
The case is much different, though.
Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about or get out there? Because I'm.
What about some of the lesser known, like maybe your French rifles or
what about the
Carcanos or something like that?
Well, there is the Carcano, but I don't normally like to talk about the Carcanos because one of them was used to assassinate a president.
So wait, so you don't want to talk about a tool because one was used incorrectly? Or one was used for harm.
All right. It's just,
I mean,
it's just
we're gun guys, dude.
I know we're gun guys.
That sounded awfully snowflakey.
I know. Well, that's why I'm Jonas.
It is. Yeah, I was about to say it's Jonas. But anyway, Carcanos are good. They're strong. I don't have one. I wish I did, but I do have a Moss 36. That is fabulous.
There was the Moss 4956.
Yes, that is
a semi-automatic.
Semi-auto.
Yeah, a lot of those a couple of years ago were brought into the country. Either they were brought into the country or someone had just like a case of them or whatnot, or a crate of them, and they were selling on the market. But a lot of them had been rechambered from, what was it,
7.5 French.
7.5 French to 308.
308, yeah. And most of them run really terrible when they do that because of the chamber pressure is not the same.
Yes, yeah. And there is actually a safety thing. It's a 308 diameter bullet, but because the Moss, especially the Moss 36, the locking lugs are at the back of the receiver instead of the front of the bolts. I mean, it's at the back of the bolt instead of front of the bolt. You do get, it's not as strong. It's strong enough for the 7.5 French, but you get into higher pressures for 308 and stuff like that. If you get it rechambered, it's a bad combination because there's nothing locking right up there at the very beginning.
The 4956 semi-auto is one of the simplest guns ever produced. It has not even a handful of parts in its bolt mechanism, and the prices on those things have just gone astronomical. You used to be able to buy one for $350, $375. Now they're well over $8.5, $9. It's just because I've been looking for one for quite a while, and it's just been absolutely crazy the prices they're getting for those things.
Right. And I do want to correct myself out there. Yes, I know the Fedorov wasn't the Fedorov was the machine gun variant, but Simonov did work on that with
Fedorov. Wasn't he a hockey player?
Fedorov did work on it with the designer. The Simonov worked on it with worked on that right on that gun with the designer. I was thinking about the. It looked like an SKS, but it was in 7.62 by 54.
You're talking about the
I got the Fedorov confused with that one. So
my tongue tied. The not SVD. Oh shit! What was that? I forgot that damn rifle. Shit. There's a 38 and a 40 model. SVD. Wait, no.
It wasn't the SVD. It's the earlier one.
I can't remember. Yeah, but there's 38 and a 42 model. Crap.
There was a semi-auto rifle that they used in World War One. That almost.
That one.
I swear it looked like an SKS. I'm just saying.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember it.
Let me look it up. So
Yeah, it had a very Browning-ish back end. It had that squarish back end, and it had the big top plate like an AK did.
Let me go ahead and look it up because you'll
Sure
know
it's
what.
not the SPD-40?
No, it's not the SPD-40. It was.
It's a cool gun. Has a big nylon. What do you call it? To operate the bolt.
Charging handle?
Yeah, charging handle. The easy way to recognize them if you're looking at the gun and you see a big white, almost like a roller skate wheel on it, you're probably looking at a 4956. And the 4956 it's similar in nomenclature to the 9130. They were originally model 49s, and then they improved them, and they called the new one the 4956.
I can't find it, but I know it looked different. So
I thought Cycle Camp just solved that problem.
he might have just solved it. So let's just go with that. I was wrong. There we go. Moving on. So everyone's happy except Night Strike, but no one cares about if I'm happy. All right. Let's.
Shit, I found it. The Sealy Rotoli rifle? Oh, no.
Use the SVT-40. Yeah, it's the SVT-40 because it
E as in Tango?
SVT is in Tango.
Okay.
So that one was used. That was one made in 1940, so 1938, 1940. So there's two versions.
It is a Fedorov automatic rifle.
Yeah, that's probably why I got that mixed up.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Yeah, so
are you talking about this one?
that was the Fedorov.
Yeah,
Simonov worked on that. Simonov, the guy who made the SKS, did work on that rifle.
Yeah, 1905. He protected self-loading rifle design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I get that one and the SVT mixed up because the stocks look so damn similar.
Yeah, that's the Fedorov. That's the Russian one.
Except for the the foregrip. The SVT 38 and 40 do not have that foregrip, but the stock almost looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Except
without the mag.
And the 38 and 40, they add a weird grill on the front of the rifle on the stock.
Yep.
So anyway, so we're talking about milsurps here and there. So all right, what else? We mentioned the SKS. We mentioned a bunch of the other ones. You know what? I think now's a good time to talk about places where you can buy replacement parts for some of your milsurp guns. Okay, there's a lot.
You wanted to talk about 1911s.
Well, you know what? We talk about 1911s all the time. So
Notches Supply is one of them.
Natchez is a good place. Yeah. I'm going to throw a couple out there. You guys who need some milsurp parts for your say you bought one of those Enfields from Classic Firearms, and you need a replacement bolt. Go to Liberty Tree Collectors and get one. They're like $90 for a complete bolt. For the same model. Yes, you may have to fit it. You may need a gunsmith to fit it and make sure you don't have anything else missing. But you might be able to take one of those deactivated ones and reactivate them. Though, if you buy one, you're still going to have to go to an FFL because they still have to send it to an FFL because it has serial number.
Yep, because it's still a rifle.
It's still a rifle.
Liberty Tree is good for lots of different rifles. They carry a lot of good old stuff.
Liberty Tree is a good one. I also like going to Numeric Gun Parts. They're another good one. I know they're in New York, and I know it's New York, oh my. But the issue is Numeric's not. I ordered some stuff off of eBay, some milsurp slings and whatnot that I paid like $6 or $7 for. And hey, guess what? I hadn't realized that the person I bought them off of eBay was Numeric's. So, I bought stuff unknowingly from Numeric's because they have an eBay store. They also have their website, which they sell off of. They're a good place. And yes, Clover, I'm getting there.
Oh, are you?
Yes, they're on the list.
Well, we're talking milsurp. Come on.
What? I've never heard of this one.
There is Sarco Inc.
They're the Mac Daddy of milsurp parts.
I have never been here.
They do a lot of milsurp parts. Now there are a bunch of places where you can get parts kits too, but I'm trying to stay specifically with milsurp replacement parts if you need them, not specifically places to do parts kits. So I'm not going to mention the part kits places, but the issue is Sarco is another good one. I think they're in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania Firearms, yeah. It says it on there.
Yeah, Sarco's in Pennsylvania.
Do they have the blow up diagrams as well? Because that's one of the things I really like about Gun Parts Corp Numeric is even if they don't have the part, they can show you how to identify it.
No, Sarco doesn't do that. Numeric's is like the only one I know that does that besides Brownells. But Brownells does that specifically for newer firearms, not necessarily old ones.
But if you need Numeric, you can usually find an exploded diagram with a parts list on almost anything you got. So I always go to Numeric's first just to identify the part I'm looking for, and then I shop around for the part.
Yeah, if you need manuals or schematics, and you have to Google search it because it's obscure, but that Steve's pages is a good place for that.
Yeah. All right. There's one last place. I needed some specific SETME parts because I'd gotten a set of handguards from Apex, not Apex, but I got the wooden handguard for my C308. I got a SETME one, and it did not come with the screw for the handguard, but Numeric said they didn't have one of those, so I was literally out of luck. So I went to another place. Now, they used to have a lot of stuff. This guy used to have, like, literally everything. But now he's down to low stock. He doesn't have a lot anymore. But it was one good place. It's called buymilsurp.com. He sold a lot of rifles. He sold a lot of parts. He still has some parts here and there. But, he used to have a lot more. But that's another good place.
Well, you mentioned Apex also in passing, but you didn't mention it as another place. And they're a place I've gone a few times.
No. I did mention Apex because I was going down my list of places where to get military parts. Oh. Apex, yes, Apex is another good one. You know, if you can't find it at Numerick, I would certainly look at Apex and Liberty Tree Collectors if you need some Milcert parts, because they'll have them there. Apex does do the thing where they do sell a lot more on parts kits rather than individual parts, but they will sell individual parts. So it's not that they don't do that, but if you look at their website, they primarily focus on parts kits.
I've been checking out buymilsurp.com. They've got a pretty good selection too. I put that link on the internal chat. They sell firearms and parts. They've got parts for a pretty good selection.
I just mentioned that, Travis. They were already on my list. You're late to the game.
No, man, I've been listening the whole time. When did you mention Buy Milsurp?
Thanks for paying attention to the chat, Travis. You are now officially the Jonas of the evening.
No, I've been listening. I don't know how I missed it. I've been listening to all the other ones you were talking about. I guess I didn't hear that first one. Huh, okay.
You're still going down your list?
I am done with my list, but if anybody has any more sites that they would like to go and inform everyone of, please do so.
I've got two more. Okay. I actually have had really good luck with SNS Firearms.
All right.
For some of the more odd stuff, especially the older single shot trapdoor rolling block kind of firearms. And they've been good to me. And a place I've gone for some really odd stuff. It's a funny little site. It's called gun-parts.com, and it's actually Bob's Gun Shop. And I needed some parts for my Irma Luger, which is a very weird little gun. And he was the only guy that had them.
When was Bob allowed to have a gun shop?
Yeah, it's Bob's Gun Shop. It's not in Canada, but
different Bob.
That's another good one.
I've actually ordered from that company too. My dad had a hex barrel. It's like a Winchester 22. I want to say I think it was a lever action. He's got an old one. We needed like stocks for it and an iron sight. And it's weird when you contact them because they basically just go through email when you order the parts. There really isn't even like an online area to buy what you want. You just tell them what you need. And they tell you what the parts. It's weird, man. They tell you what the part. I'm like, is this even legit? I mean, I got the parts a week later. It's all very cool, but Bob's Gun Shop it's interesting. It's
like an old-fashioned, almost like it looks like a printed list on the web, and you just find the stuff you want, and then you contact them and order it.
It's a serious Angel Fire style website going on here. So,
back in the day. Yes, we did mention Apex Gun Parts. So if you need parts, check Apex Gun Parts out. There you go. We just said it again. Oh my!
Wait, where do we go?
Where? Apex Gun Parts. There you go. Anybody else got a website they'd like to go and mention if you need to get Milcert parts?
Apex Gun.
Apex, yeah, Apex.
Apex, there we go. There's also Numerick's. There's Numerick's. Liberty Tree Collectors. They're a good one too. Because I'm pretty sure Bill got some parts from another website where I wouldn't necessarily trust them sometimes, but they do sell Milcert parts there too. Well, what's that place you got that Arasaka stock from?
I got the Arasaka stock on eBay.
Yeah, believe it or not, you can actually get Milcert parts off of eBay too if you look around.
Yeah.
So,
three of my go-tos, and not necessarily Milcert, but if you're looking and you can't find them anywhere that is simply Milcert, it's worth giving a shot checking them out. Jack First out of South Dakota, Lee's Gun Parts out of Texas, and Gun Garage out of Arkansas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Lee's I've heard of. Yeah.
They're not strictly Milcert, but they may have what you're looking for.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's about it. I think we have lasted the hour. If anyone out there has any questions, just send an email to nightstrike1@gmail.com. That's NIGHTSTRYKE, the number 1 @gmail.com, and we will try and answer your question. But I don't think we have any questions tonight. Let me check the email. There might be something from last week I didn't go over.
Yeah, while you're checking the email, since I'm talking, you can probably see my screen. This is a Maz 4956. It's distinctive. If you look at the very front of the receiver, what looks like a white rock is actually a round nylon ball for the charging handle. The other thing that's unusual about this gun is if you look at the magazine release is actually part of the magazine, not part of the gun. So there's a slot cut in the in the receiver, and you push the button on the bottom of the magazine there, and it rocks open and does that. And this particular gun also has the attachment on the front. You'll see that funny looking thing laying against the barrel. That's actually a to allow you to sight to shoot what do you call them? Grenades. Thank you.
Okay.
And good stuff.
Yeah. We do have a question from Jose. He did send it in during the week. He was asking, do you guys know if guns are allowed in Native American reservations? And are Indians allowed to buy or carry guns? And is Indian the politically correct term? I believe if you want to be politically correct, not that I really care about that bullshit, but if you want to, you call them Native Americans and not Indians. And honestly, it depends on the nation. On the Native American nation, because some don't allow you to carry onto or off of their reservation without permission. Some do, some don't. If you're going through an area, if you're just traveling through an area and it may be on a reservation, you may want to check to see what their laws are, just so that you don't get in trouble with their law enforcement, because believe it or not, they have their own police. They have their own sheriffs or whatnot. I don't know if they call them sheriffs, but they call them something different.
They call them chiefs. But
they've got their own law enforcement. And it's exactly like ours, except it's tailored to their laws, because their reservations are their land. They're like their own little country technically.
They are their own country. They're their own sovereign country that's protected by the United States.
So,
well, that's what they keep telling you, but that ain't how they actually treat them.
I know, but that's you just remember, if you're going through an area, make sure you know the law of the land. Otherwise, you might be in trouble. So it depends. It really depends on which area you're going through. So.
That's an interesting question. If you're on a federal interstate that goes through a reservation, does FOPA cover you?
I think so.
But they're not part of America. They're their own place.
Do they honor American laws?
Who knows?
No. That is a good point. I don't know if the state laws and federal laws apply on reservations or not. So. As I said, the best way to find out is look where you're going. If you're going to be going past or through or near reservation, and make sure to check with their local laws. They probably have a website or something for their their nation or their country or whatever, their area. Because believe it or not, they are actually modern these days. They're not living in tents anymore. So they actually have houses that they live in and do their own thing on their own land. Just saying. They are in the 20th century, at least. And if someone says, but Night Strike, it's the 21st century. I know, but it still applies.
Well, it's because, they're just still in the 20th.
They're still in the 20th, but they're in the latter half of the 20th where there's internet. So,
yeah.
But that's all I can say. That if anybody else has any other questions, let me check. We've got this isn't a question so much as it is a joke. But I'm going to go ahead and screen share this one just because it's funny. So let me go and screen share this. There we go.
Yeah, and if anybody has a Model 4956 they want to get rid of for less than $700,
let me know.
Me at,
Let Night Strike know first, and then I will let Bill know if I don't want it.
Oh, there you go.
So are you going to share something, Night Strike?
Yeah. Apparently, Scott Pacini on the YouTube side says I need to get one of these for my AR-15s, and I have thought about it, but I'm not sure how I would mount it right next to the camera. Because I'm getting one of those camera mounts for the rails too. I don't know if that might obstruct the camera lens or not. It might even hit the camera lens. I don't know.
Do you know how I know you're gay?
I'm not. This is all a joke. This is probably one giant joke. But the issue is,
I know exactly how I know you're gay. Because you suck dick.
Foos, shut up. But, I don't know. This attachment is nice, Scott, but it's missing something that Never Enough Ammo hates. It's missing sprinkles.
It is missing sprinkles.
And coconut, because Matt hates coconut and hates sprinkles, so you know what?
Well,
Never enough sprinkles.
You could attach sprinkles to that fidget spinner.
I could attach sprinkles to that fidget spinner, and then Matt would get really pissed off.
He would be like licking it all over. He'd be like, so good. I love sprinkles.
No, he hates sprinkles with a passion.
Oh, I know.
Oh, never enough sprinkles. But
never enough sprinkles.
There we go. I just figured I'd throw that out there because Scott sent it, and it was amusing. It's not as amusing as the Kofifi one I got, but it's pretty good. So, Scott, if you're out there, thank you for that. All right. Does anybody else have any questions out there? Let's check the YouTube side to make sure, green Bakelite versus plum furniture. What do you guys think?
What was it?
Green Bakelite versus plum furniture.
Dude, give me some plum.
Plum.
I'm old-fashioned, so I'm going to say Bakelite.
Wasn't plum before Bakelite?
No, I think Bakelite is for plum. Anyways, so there's that. Let's see. Any other questions? No, I don't see anything. Uh-oh. Scott just went and said coconut sprinkles. Oh, man, that is two things that Matt hates. Coconuts and sprinkles. Putting them together, you're going to get him triggered if he gets on here. Not that he is, but still.
Yeah, he won't be.
Well, we'll mention it tomorrow and get him really, really pissed off. And Dog, what is that, Dog Body?
It's like he's grilling burgers.
Making some burgers.
Burgers.
Kind of feeling the need to go like total white trash tonight. So I'm thinking burgers with Eggo waffles for the buns.
Nice.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yeah. Steadley says
I'm going to class it up.
I have heard,
but I'm going to class it up with some good cheese.
I have heard of chicken and waffles, but never burgers and waffles.
All right.
It's delicious.
Steadley over there on the YouTube side is saying that that plum is Bakelite, so it's either plum Bakelite or green Bakelite. I'm going to say green. So.
No, I have some plum wood. So. But I don't know if it's the same or not, so.
The AC97 says, Dog Buddy, you need to put sprinkles on those.
And coconut.
And coconut.
Check the guys. Check the internal chat. Look what I posted.
Bacon sprinkles, all right? Bacon sprinkles.
I do happen to have some bacon that I plan on turning into sprinkles to go on these.
Ooh, that's nasty. I hate coconut. Screw you, Travis.
No. Just let me send that over to Matt if you get a chance. He might be interested in that recipe. It's a recipe for coconut sprinkles for those of you listening. Yeah.
All right. So we don't have any questions out there. So I think I'm just gonna end it here. But thank you all for listening. Thank you all for participating out up there on the chat side, both YouTube and gun channels. Thank you guys for being part of the panel this evening. I am very thankful that you have showed up, that all of you showed up, and I actually had a full panel almost tonight instead of just having like me and Travis.
So Travis, my address is for the payment. I'll send it to you.
For the payment?
Yeah, for us to show up here tonight.
Oh no, okay. I thought you were gonna sell me that Makarov. I was excited. I was gonna PayPal you.
Well, you were going to give me the Jimenez.
No, I don't have that anymore. I've already sold it.
I know exactly. That's why we were going to do an even swap. And
I would not. I don't know. I think the Makarov's worth more than the Jimenez.
Oh yeah.
So.
Hey, real quick, I did see. I think it was over at either at Atlantic or J&G Sales. They're doing a P83 and a P64 2-for-1 combo for $400. You get two for $399. It was either J&G or Atlantic. I don't know. I started looking at Milsurp Arms, checking out and see what's out there, but it's on the main page when you go to one of those two websites.
I'm going to Atlantic.
Check that out.
Where's it at? Here it is. It is J&G Sales. Yeah, you get a Polish P83 and a P64. Good to very good condition for $399, and you can order an extra mag, little 2-pack there if you want it.
Don't do it, Foos is a trap. He's trying to get you to go for it so he can help. So he can get it.
I'm not going to because I bought a rifle I shouldn't have bought this weekend, and then I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff to my truck this week as well. So I'm dropping quite a bit.
Yep.
And I'm about to make a bullet order, which is going to be about $1,200. So,
dang.
All right, guys, that's it.
Yeah,
that's all she wrote.
What is it? It'll be 15, about 17,000 projectiles.
All right. So
that'll last a month.
Check for us on Match Chat tomorrow night. Who else? Is Yankee doing his chat this weekend? The Thursday today this week?
Yeah, I think he did it last week.
If he did last week, okay. So, whatever's going to happen has happened. Remember the Daily Gun Show every day. Fridays are heavy. You going to do yours this Friday or?
Nah, I'm going to do it tomorrow.
You're going to do it tomorrow, okay. All right, so
check
out Thursday night sites tomorrow. Check out Edge of the Week Friday and
Wednesday, dude.
Or Thursday or Wednesday. Okay, fine. Wednesday night sites. Shit, changing it on me.
Just look for my show on the Heavy B channel. It will be the title will come as I decide to make it.
Yeah. All right, and Saturday you've got what is it? Caliber Corner at 9 a.m.
Yep.
Eastern.
Yep, that's right. We'll be
doing that's a good sounding title of a show.
I know, Heavy. I wonder who thought of that. I should be cutting you royalties from that, man.
So what's topic for Caliber Corner?
We are going to continue our discussion on prepping, food supplies, water, best places to go to buy your supplies, different philosophies you can apply towards prepping, buckets versus bulk storage, all that fun stuff. So I can send invites out to all you guys if you're interested.
All right, that sounds awesome. So that's what's going on this week. We'll see you next week. Thank you all for listening. This was Hit or Miss.